So, imagine a massive container ship, right? It perfectly optimizes a 5,000-mile ocean voyage down to the exact minute just to save fuel.
Right, highly efficient.
Exactly. But then it drops anchor and just like idles for 3 days right outside the terminal because of a simple scheduling glitch.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but it happens all the time.
It really is wild. Well, anyway, welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are looking at a stack of maritime industry reports, academic papers, and some interviews with major port leaders, all custom tailored for you today.
And our mission here is really to figure out how these global hubs are balancing, hard physical infrastructure with digital technology to survive this era of just constant disruption.
Right, because that idling ship scenario we just mentioned,
Right.
it's not just a hypothetical, right?
No, not at all. It's the exact friction point that is driving massive investments right now.
Mhm.
Because the port of the future isn't just about pouring more concrete to build bigger berths.
Because they can't in a lot of cases.
Exactly. It's about unsnarling data, building these connected digital webs to make the concrete they actually do have work infinitely harder.
But I feel like to understand the tech side, we first have to look at the physical chaos that's kind of forcing this adaptation. Like back in the spring of 2026, the New York Fed's Global Supply Chain Pressure Index just spiked sharply.
Blacked off the charts, really.
Yeah, so global trade is under this severe measurable strain, and we're seeing the smartest players respond by investing heavily in resilience, like way before the next crisis even hits.
Yeah, and when we talk about physical constraints,
Hmm.
I mean, just look at the Port of Long Beach.
Oh, yeah, that's a great example.
Right, Dr. Noel Hasegaba there is executing this $3.3 billion capital improvement plan. The goal is to double cargo capacity by 2050. But the centerpiece of this isn't more terminal acreage.
Because they're physically landlocked by the city,
Yes.
right? Like they can't just expand.
Exactly. So instead, they are building this massive on-dock rail facility.
It's kind of like expanding your closet capacity with a high-tech organizer instead of, knocking down a wall.
That is a perfect way to put it, because if you can't build outward, you have to increase your throughput velocity. This on-dock rail lets them lift containers straight from the vessel onto a train.
Which completely bypasses the local truck bottlenecks that usually just clog up the whole yard.
Exactly.
But I mean, honestly, building infrastructure based on a 2050 projection, is it actually possible for ports to accurately predict their infrastructure needs like 25 years out when trade routes are this volatile?
Well, you can't predict it perfectly, but the cost of inaction is pretty much fatal in this industry.
Right.
If you wait for absolute certainty, you become the bottleneck. And Spain's Port of Bilbao really proved this.
What did they do?
They anticipated shifts and diversified their trade routes early, which gave them a 12% cargo rise early in 2026. But even more interestingly, they invested in their Bilda OPS onshore power system years ahead of European Union mandates.
Wait, that's the cold ironing tech, right? Where ships can plug directly into the local grid and just shut down their diesel engines while they're docked.
That's the one. And by getting ahead of the regulatory curve there, Bilbao didn't just, check a compliance box. They created operational flexibility to attract modern fleets.
Without having to scramble at the last minute.
Exactly. And that actually is a perfect bridge to the digital side of things.
How so?
Well, because when ports like Long Beach run out of physical footprint, the only way to squeeze more out of that existing space is through digital optimization. MSC actually points out that standard digital platforms are just as critical as automated cranes now.
Which brings us right back to that absurd scenario we opened with, ships burning fuel while they just wait around for a berth. The solutions to fix that are already out there, right?
Oh, absolutely. Look at Italy's Po River. They deployed a digital twin using live sensors and machine learning.
Oh, wow. A full digital twin.
Yeah, and it doesn't just show a map. It actually predicts water levels and draft depth in real time. So ships can adjust their cargo weight or arrival timing dynamically.
So they don't run aground or just sit idle waiting for high tide. It basically replaces reactive queuing with proactive scheduling.
You hit the nail on the head.
But I have to push back a little here. I mean, if the AI algorithms and digital twins are already proven on waterways like the Po River, why isn't every port doing this today? Like the math clearly checks out.
It does, but the math isn't the barrier at all. Research out of the Port of Rotterdam shows the algorithms are totally ready. The real friction comes from high implementation costs and trapped data silos.
Ah, right. Everyone hoarding their own data.
Exactly. You have this massive ecosystem of private stakeholders, shipping lines, terminal operators, trucking firms, and they are all fiercely protective of their proprietary data.
Plus, I imagine there are legacy IT systems that physically cannot talk to each other.
That too. Add in workforce anxieties about automation, and technology deployment just slows to a crawl.
So the bottleneck really isn't the hardware, it's the stakeholders refusing to share the roadmap. And, why should you care about this? Because literally every physical good in your life, the parts for your car, the server racks for your data center, it all relies on this high-stakes, invisible dance of port logistics.
Yeah, the ultimate competitive edge isn't going to be an isolated AI tool or some giant new crane. It's interoperability. The winners will be the ports that can make the concrete and the code work from one shared, trusted data schema.
It's fascinating that the heavy lifting is really shifting from the cranes to the cloud. But it leaves me with one final question for you to ponder. If ports eventually become perfectly optimized, automated data hubs where every single movement is tracked, who ultimately owns and controls the master key to that global trade data?